Hi everybody, it's Lori the Frugal Mom. I'm here with you in my kitchen today to show you how to make my fast sweet potato casserole. The reason why I'm doing this is for one of my best friend's sons, Christian. I thought that he might like to know how to make them since he likes them so much, and I'm making this little casserole for him. So this is just like basically like a 4x4 casserole dish. Usually I would double this, that's what I did for Thanksgiving, but I'm just gonna make enough just for him because my girlfriend doesn't eat them. So I'm gonna do my quick abbreviated version. So I've got a tablespoon and a half of butter, unsalted butter. I'm gonna put it in the microwave and melt it, and we're gonna mix everything right here in this little casserole. So I'm gonna go over to the microwave and I'm just going to melt it real quick. It could be soft, it doesn't have to be completely melted. So I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We had a nice Thanksgiving, exhausting but nice. Again, excuse my lack of glamour, but I keep it real with you guys. I'm just hanging around the house today with my boyfriend. No need for all that makeup and fuss. And I say that so you guys don't feel like you have to be made up all the time. So let me check the butter. No, I'm not quite there yet. So it's pretty easy actually what I'm going to use. I like to use regular sweet potatoes, the fresh ones, but I did this on Thanksgiving this year. I had several cans of these from the food pantry, so I decided to utilize them. And honestly, guys, that's what they look like. This is what it's going to look like and taste like if you boil whole sweet potatoes anyway. There is a little bit of syrup on here, but I drained the syrup and I rinsed it off. You know, I like to do my own thing, and very little bit of that syrup will remain on the sweet potatoes in the can. But to me, this is just easier and more, you know, time efficient. So I'm going to use probably the whole thing. This is a 40-ounce can. For Thanksgiving, I used 2, and I like to do things to taste, so I can't give you an exact recipe. So I'll probably use maybe about a tablespoon of maple syrup, more or less, to your taste. And then to save a little bit of sugar, I like to use either the stevia brown sugar mix or the Splenda brown sugar. With the Splenda, you don't have to really use very much. It's very sweet. And then we use a pinch of salt. Now, this is what I did to myself on Thanksgiving. Normally I had a little stainless steel bowl with my table salt in it with a plastic top, but I very stupidly left it on my stove top and the cover burned. So that's what happens when you're trying to do too many things at once. So you just basically use a pinch. I'll get another container, don't worry guys. And then to top it all off, mini marshmallows. So you're gonna preheat your oven to 350 and it'll do its thing while you're getting everything prepared. Here's our butter. It's not completely melted, but it's good enough. I can mash it with my fork. So, and it will melt and incorporate in the potatoes. And then I'm going to add my potatoes to this little casserole. Like I said, it's one dish. And if you were ever curious, if you needed a recipe, this is not the exact one that I use, but it's on the side of the can here. You can also look one up. But I'm telling you guys, you just do it to taste. So I'm going to add about half the mashed potatoes, the sweet potatoes rather, and I'm going to mash them with my fork. Now you could put this in a bigger bowl if you're not too concerned about making extra dishes, but I just want to get the job done quickly today. But I find this to be just as easy. You can also leave them whole and just make the glaze in a pot and pour it over, but everybody seems to like it this way better. I do too. So now those are all mashed. And you see how the butter is incorporating in? And now I'm just going to add the rest of them. Oops. See, we keep it real around here. Alright. So every last little bit. This makes 4 servings. Or if you want them just smaller servings, you could do 4 half-cup servings. So I'm going to add a couple things here. Before I add the couple things, I'm going to continue to mash them so they're even. I'm telling you guys, this is such a time saver. There's no preservatives in these. Like I said, you could use whole sweet potatoes. I do have whole sweet potatoes. I usually keep a couple because I like to use them in different dishes. But on Thanksgiving, when you've got a lot of different things going on, even Christmas, anytime that you want to make this casserole, this is really the easiest way. You don't have to spend an hour or more boiling them. I mean, you could also use your Instant Pot to soften them up. You've got one, and that's a huge time saver too. So I forgot to mention I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. Cinnamon makes everything yummy, and cinnamon is good for your sugar. So that looks to me like it's about 1.5 teaspoons. Just sprinkle that on the top. I keep my cinnamon in a canister like this, an airtight one, because I use it in my coffee. I use it in a lot of things. So we've got that. And then we're going to do our pinch of salt. Now the salt is basically to kind of balance the sweetness. You don't want more than a pinch because it'll overpower the dish. Alright, I'll put that to the side. Then I'm going to eyeball my maple syrup. If you feel more comfortable using a tablespoon, go right ahead. But I like to eyeball, and I've made this so many times over the years that I don't really need to, measure anymore. And I'm going to leave the cap off it, and I'll tell you why. When I poured it, it got on the outside. Now, if I were to put this cap back on, when it dries, it's going to glue itself together. Oh, we don't want to deal with that. So when I'm done, I will wipe this off. This is a good tip, so that doesn't happen, because I've been there, and then you have to put it in hot water and fight with it, and maple syrup is too expensive just to discard it. So that's my tip for the day. So then I am going to put a little bit of the Splenda in, probably about 2 tablespoons. The Splenda brown sugar, or you could use regular brown sugar if you're not watching your sugar, but for me, I'm always watching my sugar and trying to make things a little bit more health-wise. So yeah, that's about 2 tablespoons. Like I said, after you cook for a while, it comes with experience. Just gonna get it off my hands. But you kind of know by eyeballing what it looks like. So I'm just gonna take my fork and I'm gonna mash it in. The other thing I'm gonna add is a little bit of milk, just like you would mashed potatoes. So I'm mashing that all in, and I'm going to use a spoon in a minute. You could use a silicone spatula if you wanted to. Just for argument's sake, I'm just going to make life easier. You could also whip these in a bowl, like I said, but we want to make less dishes. So I have been friends with Cheryl since before Christian was even born. I was friends with her sister Kim first, who's actually my son's godmother. We have known each other since high school, but we really became close friends in 1999 when she came to work at Staples, the one that I worked at. And I didn't really know Cheryl that well until after we were both going through a divorce, but we kind of raised our kids together. Christian was 7 at this point. We were both going through our divorces rather, and just life issues. So over the years, we've raised our kids together, like I said, and Christian has always loved my sweet potatoes, all different incarnations of them, but he likes my sweet potato casserole best. Now, this is not meant to be completely smooth, and you can make it that way by putting it in a bowl and whipping with a hand mixer, or if you have a KitchenAid, but we like it a little bit lumpy and rustic, and you can smell it. It smells really good. Sweet potatoes, as you know, they are naturally sweet, and then you add all this goodness to it, and it makes it even better. So the next thing you're going to grab is a little bit of milk. Not too much, just a couple drops, just to make it even smoother. And at this point, you can alternate between your fork and your spoon to mix. There's going to be little chunks of butter in here, but don't you worry, they're all going to melt when we put them in the oven. And by the time you're done mixing this together, your oven will be preheated. What I like to do on Thanksgiving or other holidays is I wait till most of my sides are done, and I kind of put them in the oven all at one time. Now, this casserole is good with ham, it's good with turkey, it's good with chicken. It's just a nice hearty side dish, and adds a little bit of sweetness to it. Some people, to watch their sugar, they'll even consider this as partial dessert. I don't, but I eat it very sparingly. I'll maybe eat a tablespoon of it because of the marshmallows on top, and because I watch my carbs. a little bit. I would rather, even though I love this, I would rather save my carbs for a piece of pie. So now what I'm doing is I'm making it nice and smooth. And I should also mention that I did butter this little casserole dish. So I'm just smoothing it out with my spoon. It's all incorporated. You know, I'll incorporate it a little bit more in the bottom. I just noticed when I lifted it up, there was like a swirl of brown sugar. So now it's completely incorporated. That's the nice thing about using clear dishes, and casserole dishes rather, is that you can see what's going on when you mix it. All right, so that's done. What I'm gonna do before I put this in the oven is I am going to wipe the edges so nothing gets all icky and drips in my oven. I'm gonna bake this for about 20-30 minutes at 350 or until it bubbles. And then I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna cover the top with mini marshmallows. It could be any brand that you like. If you don't have mini marshmallows and you've got large marshmallows on hand, you can use those. You just want to cut them into pieces, smaller pieces with a kitchen shear, and it'll work just the same. So then you're gonna put the marshmallows, like I said, on top, and you're gonna bake at 350 for about 5 to 6 minutes or until the top of the marshmallows are slightly brown. You don't want to go any longer than that. You want to keep a close eye on it because you don't want the marshmallows to kind of liquefy, and that's what will happen if you leave them in there for too long. So I'm only going to take you this far. I'm going to have Christian and Cheryl finish it in their oven. I'm just going to drop this off a little bit later. But I think I have a picture of them somewhere, and I will post that. But you guys know what a sweet potato casserole looks like, basically. I will have them send me a picture when they've finished it. So like I said, 20-30 minutes, 350, or until it bubbles. Then you're going to cover the top of this in your mini marshmallows, and you're going to bake it for an additional 5 to 6 minutes or until the marshmallows are lightly browned. No more than that. And then you're going to take it out and let it sit for about 5-10 minutes. It'll retain the heat for a long time, and then you're going to serve and enjoy. So I hope that you guys have liked this video, and I hope this is helpful to my Christian. Sending love from New Jersey. Please give me a thumbs up and a like if you've enjoyed this. Let me know what other recipes you'd like to see, and let me know what your favorite Thanksgiving side is. So I hope you all are having a great weekend. I look forward to the next video with you guys. Have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.